Hello everyone, and welcome back to Let's Play Skyrim. I have the real-life well-rested bonus, and I'm feeling good. Last time we cleared out Hunter's Rest. This time, we are going to Moss Mother Cavern, where we can complete a Radiant quest we've had— well, it's not Radiant, it's always here— a miscellaneous quest we've had sitting in our journal since Falkreath to locate Valder's hunting party. So let's head up there. Oh look, an iron ore vein. We'll be fighting Spriggans and bears in here, and turns out that when you're on Adept difficulty, even Spriggan Earth Mothers aren't so bad, at least when you sling fire at them. Let's just keep going up this little trail till we discover Moss Mother Cavern.
There's a lot of blood.
This guy will die if we don't help him, but we have enough time to get all this stuff from out here.
You! Over here, please! I need help! Please, I'm not sure I'll make it on my own. Thank Kinnereth for you, stranger. I'd almost given up hope of walking away from here.
Who are you?
Name's Valder. I hunt out of Falkreath. We tracked a bear to this den. Good coin for those pelts. We had the big sow cornered when they showed up. 3 of them, out of nowhere. Spriggans. Niels went down before we even knew to run. Ari died just inside. I never even thought the things were real. I may have lost a drop or 2 of blood. Truth is, I'm not going anywhere like this. Hurts to breathe.
I may know a spell that would work. Heal Valder's injuries.
Thank you. Please hurry.
Alright. We do, in fact, know a spell that will work. Healing Hands.
Better. Thanks, friend. I wouldn't have lasted much longer without that. But now what? I can't just walk away, not with my friends' bodies in there being torn apart by those beasts.
Don't be foolish. I'll do it.
You'd really risk your life for a stranger's honor? I don't even know what to say. Thank you, my friend. I'll wait here.
Clear out Moss Mother Cavern. That was pretty neat. We got a restoration boost from healing his injuries. Let's get these last 2 mountain flowers from outside. See if we can't pick his pockets.
Be careful. They're faster than you think. Be careful. They're faster than you think.
And that's all he's gonna say for now, so let's head inside. Alright, lots of plants and the like to be found in here. Let's harvest these mushrooms before we do anything else, and there you can already see a Spriggan Earth Mother looking us over. You can probably hear a bear deeper in the cave. Here's one of the hunters, Ari. Let's do what we do with her corpse before any real fighting starts. The Spriggan's still just eyeballing us. She won't attack until we get closer. But we definitely do want to have full magicka when she does attack, so I'm going to hang back here because I think the next thing I'm going to have to do is fight her. Might be able to get a few of these plants. In fact, I might be able to hop up here without triggering her. Okay, that's good. Got an empty Lesser Soul Gem, and then the depth-locked chest up here in the right, so let's get that open. Pretty good stuff. Alright. See see if we can get the rest of these center plants. Hey, we can. What about... let's disarm that bear trap. And let's search that bear corpse. So far, so good. What else can we do up here? I doubt I can get to that bleeding crown, but I'm gonna try. Oh, it worked. Alright, good. Oh, maybe we can clear out the first room before we have to fight anything. That'd be handy. Not that it matters much. And there's nothing up here on the left side. Alright, it's time to begin. Let's get the Spriggan Earth Mother first. Better if we can get her close to us. That insects. Green birds. Claws. So hang here and heal up before we move any further in. So bear will attack us soon. That's an easy proposition, but not at 1/4 health. And we got another rank in destruction. That was good too. Alright, I'm gonna wait an hour. The easy way to let my magicka refill. Some hanging moss up overhead. Start down here. Down goes the bear. Let's heal up and search either side of this little canyon we found ourselves in. Anyway, sorry about that little hiccup. Inside this tree stump up on the left, should notice a potion, a coin purse, and a leveled war axe. I got a dwarven one. Not good. Here's an iron ore vein. Let's not skip that. Now let's check out this side. Just an imp stool I almost missed a little further back. I don't think there's anything else. So let's drop down to the main room. Here we have Niels, the other hunter from Balder's party who got killed. Let's do what we do with him. We're gonna have 2 more Spriggans to fight in this big, kind of neat looking main room.
At last.
I'm gonna break left first. I think I should run into the new or the second Spriggan soon enough. There's not a good way up onto that platform, but don't worry about it. There's nothing up there anyway. There it is. Hatred. No problem. I even need to be careful. Alright, she's down, which means according to Valder, there's only one more. Valder happens to be right. She's up there on the right, close to the boss chest. Well, we'll do a little more looting before we go and aggravate her. Main two things I want to do over here are get the Mora Tapanella off this tree stump and dive into this pool of water. Because we have an ebony shield and an iron greatsword. It's not guaranteed to be ebony, it's leveled, but it's pretty good. By that skeleton over there. Now you can hop up there and come at her from behind, but it isn't really to your advantage to do so. Just make sure I'm not missing any plants as I head up to her. Well, we did get hit with a bear. And there we killed her, just barely. So we need to return to Valder. Before I do that, just note that Moss Mother Cavern is now a cleared location. There's the chime. There's the confirmation. Well, before we leave, let's... completely forgot the bear trap, and I think it's actually what almost killed me. Let's go up behind her tree first. Over here to the left, just note that there's a gold ore vein. I'll mind it as soon as I'm done healing. Very good. Now let's head over here. I almost missed that Mora Tapanella. Up here to the right, well, let's go left first. Oh yeah, there's nothing there. Up here to the right is a boss chest with a little more stuff. Leveled mace, potion, always hide boots. Inside the boss chest, I got, well, some pretty good stuff. I already know the spell and the enchantment, but that's some high-level gear for sure. Alright, let's go talk to Valder. He should still be waiting for us outside.
It's done then. Justice, if you can call it that. Look, I want you to have this. I know it isn't much, but it's important to me. Ari gave me this dagger when we first started hunting together. I always said it brought her luck. You should be the one to carry it now. I'll give them a proper burial, then head back. Come find me if you're ever in Falkreath. You'll always be welcome at my door.
Alright, so we've completed the miscellaneous quest, Moss Mother Cavern, that's what it's called, for Falkreath Hold.
I'll give them a proper burial, then head back. Come find me if you're ever in Falkreath. You'll always be welcome at my door.
Okay, we can visit him then, when we get back. If you don't have a way to heal him when you first approach the cavern, he dies. But if you do manage to save him, like we did, then he'll eventually take up residence at Dead Man's Drink, there in Falkreath. Now let's look at what he gave us. This is a unique item. Volder's Lucky Dagger. 25% chance of a critical hit. Not too awesome, but, you know, we'll hold on to it. Put it in the chest in Whiterun with all the others. So that's that. Speaking of which, let's head back to Whiterun.
Whoa, whoa, whoa!
Excuse me.
You lost?
Her chest is refilled. Lots of good stuff, and my favorite, a rare book that I haven't read yet. Fragment on Artaeum. Let me find this one on my book list. Yes, Fragment on Artaeum. Oh good, we can take that one off. And let's give it a read. Fragment on Artaeum by Tarse Ilansalma. The Isle of Artaeum is the third largest island in the Somerset archipelago, located south of the Moridunan village of Potenza and west of the mainland village of Runsabay. It is best known for being home to the Sigic order, perhaps the oldest monastic group in Tamriel. The earliest written record of Sigics is from the 20th year of the First Era, and tells the tale of the renowned Breton sage and author Vornet, traveling to the Isle of Artaeum to meet with Iachesis, the right master of the Sigics. Even then the Sigics were the counselors of kings and proponents of the Elder Way, taught to them by the original race that inhabited Tamriel. The Elder Way is a philosophy of meditation and study said to bind the forces of nature to the individual will. It differs from Magicka in origin, but the effects are much the same. That said, it is perhaps more than coincidence that the Isle of Artaeum literally vanished from the shores of Somerset at the beginning of the Second Era, at about the time of the founding of the Mages Guild in Tamriel. Various historians and scholars have published theories about this, but perhaps none but Iachesis and his own could shed light on the matter. 500 years passed and Artaeum returned. The Sigics on the isle consisted of persons, mostly elves, who had disappeared and were presumed dead in the Second Era. They could not or would not offer any explanation for Artaeum's whereabouts during that time, or the fate of Iachesis and the original council of Artaeum. Currently, the Sigics are led by the lore master Celerus, who has presided over the Council of Artaeum for the last 250 years. The council's influence in Tamrielan politics is tidal. The kings of Somerset, particularly those of Moridunan, have often sought the Sigics' opinion. Emperor Uriel V was much influenced by the council in the early, most glorious parts of his reign, before his disastrous attack on Akavir. It has even been suggested that the fleet of King Orcum of Pyandonia was destroyed by a joint effort of Emperor Antiochus and the Sigic order. The last four emperors, Uriel VI, Morihatha, Pelagius IV, and Uriel VII, have been suspicious of the Sigics enough to refuse ambassadors from the Isle of Artaeum within the imperial city. The Isle of Artaeum is difficult to chart geographically. It is said that it shifts continuously, either at random or by decree of the council. Visitors to the island are so rare as to be almost unheard of. Anyone desirous of a meeting with a Sigic may find contacts in Potenza and Runsabay, as well as many of the kingdoms of Somerset. Were it more accessible, Artaeum would be a favored destination for travelers. I have been to the isle once and still dream of its idyllic orchards and clear pastures, its still and silent lagoons, its misty woodlands, and and the unique Sigic architecture that seems to be as natural as its surroundings, as well as wondrous in its own right. The Sephora Tower, in particular, I would study, for it is a relic from a civilization that predates the High Elves by several hundred years, and is still used in certain rites by the Sigics. Perhaps one day I might return. Note: the author is currently on the Isle of Artaeum by gracious consent of Master Sardinius of the Council of Artaeum. Well, there you go. Now let's wait till 8 a.m., then visit Arcadia and Bellator. in what has become our usual pattern. But before I do that, and remember, I stole a hunting bow from Balder, and I need to drop Balder's lucky dagger in here with the unique items. Should be good otherwise. Alright. Arcadia and then Belethor in the usual fashion. I'm very happy with how fast the game has started moving now that crafting is over.
Take a good look around. I'm sure you'll find it.
Just a big
What do you
load
need
off your
then?
shoulders to finish that grind.
So you're an alchemist then?
Anything, anything, anything? No, 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 no. No, and no. Resist poison and frenzy is all I'm interested in, recipe-wise. I've already learned everything else. Well, I've learned everything else. Every kind of recipe they sell. Those are the only two I haven't seen yet. Alright,
Come
let's go
back
to
anytime
Belethor.
if you need a ride.
There's actually still some stuff I need from Belethor. The resist poison enchantment, one amulet of Arcane,
bit of this and a
two
bit of
amulets of Dibella. None of the above. Oh well. Now those expert robes of alteration are worth 1,000. Speech to 91.
Some
Excellent.
may call this junk. Me, I call
Those are
them
worth
treasure.
1,144 gold. The only two people I know who will buy them, or who will buy, yeah, them, are Belethor and Farengar. And Belethor has more money than Farengar, so I think we'll sell them to him.
Do come back. What do you think you're doing? Careful now. Some may call this junk. Me, I call
Amulet
them
of
treasure.
Julianos. Just have to
Remember,
accept
I'll
selling those at a pretty big loss.
Give you the best deals. Help! I'm being. Oh, a bit of this and a bit of that.
One last
Next.
thing.
Time, come see me at my. What do you think you're doing? You just let. Take a look.
Well, two last things. I'll show you what I mean in a second. I'll sell him that.
Till next time.
Now, to get to my next destination, I want to fast travel back to Moss Mother Cavern. But first, let's go to Falkreath and visit our new friend Valder. He should be settled in at Dead Man's Drink by now. He talks like he has a house, but he lives at the inn.
Go cast your fancy magic someplace else.
He ought to be settled in by now. And hey, while we're here, let's visit
Don't go
the...
setting the place on fire, okay?
Well, oh, a bit of this and a bit of
Let's
that.
visit two merchants who might have useful stuff for me. Looks like he will never reset on goat horns either.
Steal anything from. By the gods.
Oh shit. It's a revered dragon. Well, okay. Those we got a few things to do. First one I want to do is just check on Zaria here at Grave
Someone
Concoctions.
take a look.
And when she invariably doesn't have anything, I'll just quick load to come back outside. These guys cannot handle a revered dragon. Not without my able assistance. We'll use our ebony arrows on this guy. It looks like, oh, I thought maybe he'd gotten distracted and gone away from the town. That was going to be very good. Although really, I can handle him killing most of the people in Falkreath now. The only one I really need to keep alive is, Runil, because I haven't done his quest yet. Get down here, fucker.
Report to me, dragon.
Let me heal a little bit before my last magic could disappear. I hate Grave Fatality. It's such a pain in the ass. It's a lot of fun when we learn it, though. Archery 42. Trying to make sure that whoever he's attacking is just guards. It looks like they are so far. That's good. Archery to 43, and he only killed one guard. That's actually not too bad.
Down the dragon wall. I don't know it yet.
Alright. Well, let's take all the unfortunate guards' stuff. Let's get everything we can off the dragon. Which includes 3 dragon scales. That's great. Now I only need 11. 8 for crafting, 3 for hearthfire.
Got something for just about every trinkets, odds and ends, that sort of
Suddenly
thing.
I have gear to offload. Namely the guard's gear, the dragon bone, and the flawless emerald.
Steal anything from
Let's visit Valder, then I actually need to go back to Whiterun and drop off the, dragon scales. Oh good, 2 ranks in archery is not too bad.
Come on in. Just stoke the fire. Take a seat.
There's Valder. He made it.
Hello again, friend. I'll never forget what you did for me. Hello again, friend. I'll never forget what you did for me.
Well, that's all he's gonna say, that's fine.
Take out with those things.
So I guess we need to head to Whiterun, as we've got dragon scales to drop off. Those are too heavy to lug through the next dungeon. Next up is not a big dungeon, but a very tough one, with a very good reward at the end of it.
You're not supposed to play with fire. No.
My next stop is a nearby cave called Sunderstone Gorge.
I trust you're not planning any trouble.
We can get there along the roads, I'll show you how. Sunderstone Gorge is filled to bursting with high-level casters, which, as you should know, is quite difficult to deal with. But the reward for toughing your way through
What
it
do you need?
is the second word of the Fire Breath shout, along with some other along with lots of goodies. So, with a revered dragon dead at the cost of one Falkreath guard, let's return to Moss Mother Cavern. Once I have all of the dragon scales I want, dragon attacks are going to start annoying me a lot more. As is, I need them to happen so I can collect dragon scales, but it won't be long before they start pissing me off. Okay, so let's head back out to the main road here, and I'm going to stop spamming Mage Light now in case I run into something. Let's keep going this direction, away from the Half Moon Mill. You can get to the gorge by going straight over the mountains, but I prefer to take the roads, because, you know, it's more scenic. It feels like what you were intended to do, although that doesn't particularly matter, but the big reason is it opens you up to more random encounters, and I would like to eventually find all of those, and that can take a long time. Just head down this road, and you might notice we're coming into familiar territory again. Don't let your mind get blown too much, but we're back on the main road in Whiterun. We are, I believe, significantly west of Bloated Man's Grotto, in an area we haven't actually been to before. Well, we're gonna have some road cover. Oh, but we're almost directly south of Sleeping Tree Camp. I think I actually have been here before and cleared out this bit of main road. Just to be certain, I'm gonna run west until I'm certain I've seen something before, because this is all actually looking fairly new to me. Oh, he is trying his best to escape. I'll allow it. We're now good enough with archery to kill deer with iron arrows, even if we don't get the sneak attack. There's definitely no reason to waste ebony arrows on them. I mean, I have a lot, but I'd still prefer to save them for dragons when I really need them. And then we can deal with this deer the way we always do. And I think I forgot to do this to the fox that I killed a minute ago. Let's go do that as well. Can't be forgetting my system. Not now, not after coming this far. Ah, that. I think I've caught a glimpse of one of those earlier. That's a burial mound. There is a dragon's corpse underneath there that will eventually be resurrected. But for now, there's nothing to do but admire the stonework. And let's just... I can see Bloated Man's Grotto on the compass already, so let's just take the road back to there. That way we can be certain we've seen the whole thing. And here we get to plants I've already harvested. Okay, we've been here. Let's turn back to the west. Now we're at an interesting little point at this intersection. It's basically the meeting of three different holds. Falkreath, Whiterun, and the Reach all kind of border each other right here. Up this way we have Riften and Helgen. To the right, Markarth, Solitude, and Rorikstead. To the left, Whiterun and Windhelm. Let's go this way. We aren't going to go far. Let's go check out the Dragon Mound in a little more detail while we're here. A lot of them just have this burial pack, but you can see the 3 stones here. This one's a little fancier. But there's not actually anything to do there. So, hey, oh, a saber cat. You will drop a tooth. You understand? Not a knife, a tooth. Your eye is useless to me. Your tooth is not. Hey, yo. He listened. With that one, I need 9 more saber cat teeth. Let's heal up and reanimate him, like we usually do. And him, I think he's strong enough. I can just use flames from the get-go. Excuse me. Let's heal up that little bit of damage he did. And let's keep going. Well, we briefly revisited Whiterun, but that's over. To the right, Rorikstead and Solitude. To the left, Whiterun, Riften, Windhelm. Straight ahead, Karthwasten and Markarth. This is the main road that will take you into the Reach. We won't be going there for quite some time. But it's worth poking around here, because there's an interesting fixed encounter here. You'll notice this dead horse. I wonder if I can reanimate it. No, it's too strong. And then just a little ways farther up, an overturned wagon with a dead Khajiit. Let me get all the plants from around here. A Dance in Fire V7. You know what that is, friends. That's a skill book. A Dance in Fire, Chapter 7, by Wogan Jarth. Let me go to my booklet. And speech went to 92. That's great. Alright, let me take that off the book list. Excuse me. And if I peek at free skill boosts, I had 6 for speech. Now there are 5. There's only 1 skill book left to find. 2 quests and 2 special ones. A Dance in Fire, Chapter 7, by Wogan Jarth. Scene, Sylvanar, Valenwood. Date, 13 Sun's Dusk, 3rd Era, 397. The banquet at the Palace of the Sylvanar was well attended by every jealous bureaucrat and traitor who had attempted to contract the rebuilding of Valenwood. They looked on Decimus Scotti, Leodes Juris, and Bast with undisguised hatred. It made Scotti very uncomfortable, but Juris delighted in it. As the servants brought in platter after platter of roasted meats, Juris poured himself a cup of Jaga and toasted the clerk. "I can confess it now," said Juris. "I had grave doubts about inviting you to join me on this adventure. All the other clerks and agents of building commissions I contacted were more outwardly aggressive, but none of them made it through, let alone to the audience chamber of the Sylvanar, let alone brokered the deals on their own, like you did. Come, have a cup of Jaga with me." "No, thank you," said Scotti. "I had too much of that drug in Falinesti, and nearly got sucked dry by a giant tick because of it. I'll find something else to drink." Scotti wandered about the hall until he saw some diplomats drinking mugs of a steaming brown liquid poured from a large silver urn. He asked them if it was tea. "Tea made from leaves?" scoffed the first diplomat. "Not in Valenwood. This is Rotmeth." Scotti poured himself a mug and took a tentative sip. It was gamey, bitter, and sugared, and very salty. At first it seemed very disagreeable to his palate, but a moment later he found he had drained the mug and was pouring another. His body tingled. All the sounds in the chamber seemed oddly disjointed, but not frighteningly so. "So you're the fellow who got the Sylvanar to sign all those contracts," said the second diplomat. "That must have required some deep negotiation." Not at all, just a little basic understand of mercantile trading," grinned Scotti, pouring himself a third mug of Rotmeth. "The Sylvanar was very eager to involve the Imperial State with the affairs of Valenwood. I was very eager to take a percentage of the commission. With all that blessed eagerness, it was merely a matter of putting quill to contract, bless you." You have been in the employ of His Imperial Majesty very long? Asked the first diplomat. It's or rather a bit more complicated than that in the Imperial City. Between you and me, I don't really have a job. I used to work for Lord Atreus and his building commission, but I got sacked. And then the contracts are from Lord Vanek and his building commission, because I got 'em from this fellow Reglius, who is a competitor, but still a very fine fellow until he was made dead by those Khajiit. Scotty drained his 5th mug. When I go back to the Imperial City, then the real negotiations can begin, bless you. I can go to my old employer and to Lord Vanek and say, look here, you, which one of you wants these commissions? And they'll fall all over each other to take them from me. It will be a bidding war for my percentage, the likes of which no one nowhere has ever seen. So you're not a representative of His Imperial Majesty, the Emperor? Asked the first diplomat. Didn't you hear what I'm said? You stupid! Scotty felt a surge of rage, which quickly subsided. He chuckled, and poured himself a 7th mug. The building commissions are privately owned, but they're still representatives of the Emperor. So I'm a representative of the Emperor, or I will be, when I get these contracts in. It's very complicated. I can understand why you're not following me. Bless you, it's all like the poet said, a dance in fire if you follow the illusion, that is to say, illusion. And your colleagues? Are they representatives of the Emperor? Asked the second diplomat. Scotty burst into laughter, shaking his head. The diplomats bade him their respects and went to talk to the minister. Scotty stumbled out of the palace and reeled through the strange organic avenues and boulevards of the city. It took him several hours to find his way to Prithala Hall and his room. Once there he slept, very nearly on his bed. The next morning he woke to Juris and Bast in his room, shaking him. He felt half asleep and unable to open his eyes fully, but otherwise fine. The conversation with the diplomats floated in his mind in a haze, like an obscure childhood memory. What in Mara's name is rot meth? He asked quickly. Rancid, strongly fermented meat juices with lots of spices to kill the poisons, smiled Bast. I should have warned you to stay with Jaga. You must understand the meat mandate by now, laughed Juris. These Bosmeri would rather eat each other than touch the fruit of the vine or the field. What did I say to those diplomats? Cried Scotty, panicking. Nothing bad, apparently, said Juris, pulling out some papers. Your escorts are downstairs to bring you to the Imperial Province. Here are your papers of safe passage. The Sylvanar seems very impatient about business proceeding forward rapidly. He promises to send you some sort of rare treasure when the contracts are fulfilled. See, he's already given me something. Juris showed off his new bejeweled earring, a beautiful, large-faceted ruby. Bast showed that he had a similar one. The two fat fellows left the room so Scotty could dress and pack. A full regiment of the Sylvanar's guards was on the street in front of the tavern. They surrounded a carriage crested with the official arms of Valenwood. Still dazed, Scotty climbed in, and the captain of the guard gave the signal. They began a quick gallop. Scotty shook himself and then peered behind. Bast and Juris were waving him goodbye. Wait, Scotty cried. Aren't you coming back to the Imperial Province too? The Sylvanar asked that we stay behind as Imperial representatives, yelled Leode's Juris, in case there's a need for more contracts and negotiations. He's appointed us undrape, some sort of special honor for foreigners at court. Don't worry, lots of banquets to attend. You can handle the negotiations with Vanek and Atreus yourself, and we'll keep things settled here. Juris continued to yell advice about business, but his voice became indistinct with distance. Soon it disappeared altogether as the convoy rounded the streets of Sylvanar. The jungle loomed suddenly, and then they were in it. Scotty had only gone through it by foot or along the rivers by slow-moving boats. Now it flashed all around him in profusions of greens. The horses seemed even faster moving through underbrush than on the smooth paths of the city. None of the weird sounds or dank smells of the jungle penetrated the escort. It felt to Scotty as if he were watching a play about the jungle, with a background of a quickly moving scrim, which offered only the merest suggestion of the place. So it went for 2 weeks. There was lots of food and water in the carriage with the clerk, so he merely ate and slept as the caravan pressed endlessly on. From time to time he'd hear the sound of blades clashing, but when he looked around, whatever had attacked the caravan had long since been left behind. At last they reached the border where an imperial garrison was stationed. Scotty presented the soldiers who met the carriage with the papers. They asked him a barrage of questions that he answered monosyllabically, and then let him pass. It took several more days to arrive at the gates of the imperial city. The horses that had flown so fast through the jungle now slowed down in the unfamiliar territory of the wooded Colovian estates. By contrast, the cries of his province's birds and smells of his province's plant life brought Decimus Scotti alive. It was as if he had been dreaming all the past months. At the gates of the city, Scotty's carriage door was opened for him, and he stepped out on uncertain legs. Before he had a moment to say something to the escort, they had vanished, galloping back south through the forest. The first thing he did now that he was home was go to the closest tavern and have tea and fruit and bread. If he never ate meat again, he told himself, that would suit him very nicely. Negotiations with Lord Atreus and Lord Vanek proceeded immediately thereafter. It was most agreeable. Both commissions recognized how lucrative the rebuilding of Valenwood would be for their agency. Lord Vanek claimed, quite justifiably, that as the contracts had been written on forms notarized by his commission, he had the legal right to them. Lord Atreus claimed that Decimus Scotti was his agent and representative, and that he had never been released from employment. The Emperor was called to arbitrate, but he claimed to be unavailable. His advisor, the Imperial battle mage Jagar Tharn, had disappeared long ago and could not be called on for his wisdom and impartial mediation. Scotti lived very comfortably off the bribes from Lord Atreus and Lord Vanek. Every week a letter would arrive from Juris or Bast asking about the status of negotiations. Gradually these letters ceased coming, and more urgent ones came from the Minister of Trade and the Sylvanar himself. The War of the Blue Divide with Somerset Isle ended with the Altmeri winning several new coastal islands from the Wood Elves. The war with Elsewhere continued, ravaging the eastern borders of Valenwood. Still, Vanek and Atreus fought over who would help. One fine morning in the early spring of the year 30 or 398, a courier arrived at Decimus Scotti's door. Lord Vanek has won the Valenwood Commission, and requests that you and the contracts come to his hall at your earliest convenience. Has Lord Atreus decided not to challenge further? Asked Scotti. He's been unable to, having died very suddenly just now from a terribly unfortunate accident, said the courier. Scotti had wondered how long it would be before the Dark Brotherhood was brought in for final negotiations. As he walked toward Lord Vanek's building commission, a long, severe piece of architecture on a minor but respectable plaza, he wondered if he had played the game as he ought to have. Could Vanek be so rapacious as to offer him a lower percentage of the commission, now that his chief competitor was dead? Thankfully, he discovered, Lord Vanek had already decided to pay Scotti what he had proposed during the heat of the winter negotiations. His advisors had explained to him that other, lesser building commissions might come forward, unless the matter were handled quickly and fairly. Glad we have all the legal issues done with, said Lord Vanek fondly. Now we can get to the business of helping the poor Bosmeri and collecting the profits. It's a pity you weren't our representative for all the troubles with Bendermach and the Arnesian business. But there will be plenty more wars, I'm sure of that. Scotti and Lord Vanek sent word to the Sylvanar that at last they were prepared to honor the contracts. A few weeks later they held a banquet in honor of the profitable enterprise. Decimus Scotti was the darling of the imperial city, and no expense was spared to make it an unforgettable evening. As Scotti met the nobles and wealthy merchants who would be benefiting from his business dealings, an exotic but somehow faintly familiar smell rose in the ballroom. He traced it to its source, a thick roasted slab of meat, so long and thick it covered several platters. The Cyrodiilic revelers were eating it ravenously, unable to find the words to express their delight at its taste and texture. It's like nothing I've ever had before. It's like pig-fed venison. Do you see the marbling of fat and meat? It's a masterpiece. Scotti went to take a slice, but then he saw something embedded deep in the dried and rendered roast. He nearly collided with his new employer, Lord Vanek, as he stumbled back. Where did this come from? Scotti stammered. From our client, the Sylvanar, beamed his lordship. It's some kind of local delicacy they call Nthrapa. Scotti vomited, and didn't stop for some time. It cast rather a temporary pall on the evening, but when Decimus Scotti was carried off to his manor house, the guests continued to dine. The Nthrapa was the delight of all, even more so when Lord Vanek himself took a slice and found the first of 2 rubies buried within. How very clever of the Bosmer to invent such a dish, the Cyrodiils agreed. Let's take his hat and let's reanimate him. He should be susceptible, and he is. disarm that bear trap, pick up all this clutter from the overturned wagon, including the stuff inside. Don't miss any of the plants lining the road. Can never stand for that. And keep on going up. Just a little ways farther. That, I believe, is Fort Sunguard, and it marks the actual border between Whiterun, the Reach, and Falkreath. The actual point where all three holds meet up with each other is right up here at this intersection, you can see. So, right here, first the road sign. Carthwayston, Markarth, and Solitude, Whiterun, Riften, and Windhelm. To our left is Whiterun, to our right is the Reach. Straight ahead, we're going back into Falkreath. Uh-oh, we got Thalmor.
Huh?
And they're in a fight with something that isn't me. Oh, good. This is a new random encounter. Thalmor versus Stormcloaks, I believe it's called. Yes, there it is. Thalmor versus Stormcloaks. Well, let's let this fight play out. The Thalmor are going to win, of course. In fact, maybe I should help the Stormcloaks out. What? Bounty added to the Reach? Are you serious? It's because I accidentally hit Stormcloak, I think. I knew the Falcon was going to win that one. Heavy armor to 91. That's good. Well, let's murder these things. Fuck that one. Destruction to 48. Good. This glass shield mage makes things substantially easier. First one.
I'll see you burn.
Yes, I can forgo no opportunity to kill Thalmor. It's a matter of time. Alright, well, let's loot this guy. Let's loot the other Thalmor.
You to defeat. Impossible.
Should quick save with two of them. I'm not exactly outpacing this guy, but he doesn't seem to have a ranged option, so if I'm careful, I should be able to handle him. I was unable to save the Stormcloaks, but to be honest, I didn't really want to anyway. Let me just make sure I'm not carrying a bounty. Good. It's odd that those Stormcloaks were counted as citizens of the Reach for purposes of calculating a bounty, because the Reach is openly an Imperial. Oh well.
Damn you.
Alright. Let's take a couple more minutes.
Enough. No.
Good night, douchebag. Now we need to heal up, and then we need to... see who we're able to reanimate. I'm so happy if I can carry all this. I have no idea. If I can't... Well... Damn. I think I know what I have to do. It's just going to be a little tedious. Alright, they're all disarmed. Let's just see who we're able to eliminate. Not him. There are 5 others. Not him. Probably not the other Falmore either. Not her. What about the other 2 Stormcloaks? Not him. And not him. That means we're actually done. Don't worry, I've figured out how to do this, and it won't actually take that long. Alright, so let's head up this slightly less well-maintained road back into Falkreath. You can see ahead on the compass the cave we just cleared, Moss Mother Cavern. I see a deer up ahead. Forget, I can zoom in, and it'll slow down time. There we go. Oops. There we go. And our next target is pretty easily visible there on the left, too. I know what I can do to fast travel out of here. See that smoke coming from the right? There's a hunter's camp there. I believe it even has a treasure chest. So we can drop a couple of pieces of gear in there, go offload the rest, and then come back. Well, let's go to that hunter camp right quick. The hunter should be around somewhere. There, I see him sitting over there. Or her. Could be either. I'm gonna steal her baked potatoes, because I'm a jerk. Gonna pick her pocket, because I'm a jerk.
You could have just... You could have just...
Dang it. Got too greedy.
I guess I...
Come on.
I guess I could...
Come on. It's 90%.
What are you?
Jesus.
You could have.
It's 90% odds on everything. How can I keep failing this
You
much?
could have-
Let's do another quick save. Alright, steal from the chest. Let's drop some heavy shit in here. Heavy, but not that awesome. I'm thinking steel, iron. That's the kind of thing to offload. Here's an elk. Let's give it the treatment. Couldn't help but notice a bear over there. We'll have to deal with him too. Now I'd like to go ahead and get Sunderstone Gorge on the map. You can see it's guarded by a caster there at the entrance. So I don't want to aggravate him. I just want to discover it so I can fast travel back here. So there, we have discovered Sunderstone Gorge. That will be our next target. For now, I've got a more tame goal in mind. What is she doing? Is she gonna fight the bear?
You can't hide from me.
Now where's that bear I saw? He was over here to the right. I'm sure of it. Where did he go?
No sign.
Oh no, I saw a bear over here. Anyway, here's a little dried out pond with a few plants still surviving around it. There he is. It is him, Hunter. Okay. Let's deal with him.
That's the last of them.
Now this actually takes us toward future locations. I don't want to do that. I think a normal bear I might be able to reanimate. Let me see. Yeah. Good. Oh. But he's not going to reanimate with proper health. He's going to glitch. That's fine. Now there's no trail up here. This is just kind of empty but navigable land. If I remember right, there are some goodies on this more direct route back from Sunderstone Gorge. Of course, there's this trail. Which I actually can't remember where the origin point is. I need to go look. This demands to be investigated. What is this trail? Where does it start? Where does it end? Okay, that's the trail that takes us to the mine. Where does that other one go? We'll have to investigate that too. For now, let's close the gap, pinching back toward Moss Mother Cavern. Got an ore vein to mine. Gotta be careful, because I'm flirting with being over-encumbered again. Anyway, all our familiar territory is just past that cliff. And in fact, maybe that's just how that trail's supposed to start. I'm gonna hop up the rocks here and retrieve my horse. Come on. There we go. Lo and behold, we're back at Moss Mother Cavern. Alright, let me grab my horse. Now over encumbrance ain't no thing but a chicken wing, as they say. I'll worry about the trails later. What's most relevant is that we've cleared out this sort of no man's land between Sunderstone and Moss Mother. And we've also cleared out the roads over to Moss Mother. The main roads from Moss Mother to Next up is healing. And next is finding that deer. It must have run. Horse got too close. We'll find it on our return trip. It's almost a guarantee. Alright, let's get all the lame stuff that we left in this chest. Board our horse, head back to Whiterun for another offload. I didn't anticipate that, but that's okay. $6:27, I should have time to get to the shops, no problem. And I should be spamming Mage Light, we're in town.
Divine smile on you, friend.
Go cast your fancy magic
What are
someplace
you
else.
looking at? I'm not afraid of you, you know, even if you are my elder.
Old friend, patron of the great clan Battleborn. A name I'm sure you know well.
Oh good, plenty of time.
I work for Bellathor at the general goods store.
Now all that glass
Come by
equipment we got
Bellathor's
from those
shop. Come on.
Thalmor,
I'm sure we got something.
that's expensive.
Everything's... Take a look.
We'll have to reset him a few times to offload all of that. See, he's already down to 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Do I have anything that he's going to take for 0? A hat. Okay. What about food? Nope. Ingredients. I should have some 0 value ingredients. The great thing though is once speech hits 100, nothing is 0 value. Alright,
Do come back.
prepare to be reset.
Help! I'm being... I... Take a look.
5 again. Okay. And 1. And done.
Remember, I'll give you the best deal.
Help me!
You just let... Take a look.
Okay, I did sell all the weapons.
Next time, come see my shop. Got some...
Help me!
Welcome. Trinkets, odds and ends, that sort of thing.
Offload, offload. It takes a while, but it's worth doing. 52, 40, 28. 4.
Help me!
Oh, a bit of this and a bit of that.
What do you think you're doing?
Need some trinkets, odds and ends, that sort of thing.
Do not accidentally sell your saber cat tooth. There we go. Alright,
All right then.
Don't mean to be rude.
let's check on Arcadia right quick, then drop at the house, and then fast travel to Sunderstone Gorge, and then the video will be over. This one ran long, but just because we ran into that lucrative group of Thalmor. Good for the heart, good for the soul, and good for the wallet. Murdering Thalmor.
Got something for just about everybody. What do you need? Ah, so you're an alchemist then.
Right, okay, she hasn't even reset.
Come back anytime if you need a remedy.
Alright, we'll check on Lucia's chest.
Brave is a big
Or
meat.
no.
He keeps telling Lars and me what to do.
Drop
I
the
don't wanna
tooth
play with him.
upstairs. Well, that was a pretty eventful video. Trying to think, First, we cleared Moss Mother Cavern, did the quest, got a unique item. Then we fought a revered dragon in Falkreath. Then, on our way to Sunderstone Gorge, we killed a bunch of Thalmor. Pretty eventful. Most of it outside my route, but that's kind of how this game works. Anyway, we will return now to Sunderstone Gorge. You see the caster there. It's very likely I won't be able to kill him with flames when we come back, but that will be the first thing I try. Until then, this has been Let's Play Skyrim. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.